Hey, you snack, welcome back. My name is Jack. It's time for us to read some more Reddit stories, so let's begin. This wildly manipulative story is from Responsible Pen 3676 in Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for kicking my homeboy and girlfriend out of my house after looking at the cameras? I'm going to try to not leave any details out because I want to be wrong so bad. Firstly, I'm a woman and I'm with a woman and we have been together for 6 years and she's been SA'd before and I have never once not believed her or ever doubted her and I still don't. Yesterday, I had my homeboy come over like I do every weekend. Me and my girlfriend have known him and invited him almost everywhere with us for about 3 years. So, I invite him over, and they decided to buy a bottle of tequila and get blackout drunk. I take a nap around 6 p.m. and wake up at about 8:35 p.m. I go to the restroom and she comes in with me. Now everything is fine and cool, and then she says, well, we don't have drinks, so we have to go to the store. So her and my homeboy go to the store. Cool. Everything's cool. I get on my game. They're still taking shots. I go to the restroom again and then come out, and the homeboy goes to the restroom. I'm now sitting on the couch with my girlfriend, and she tells me my homeboy grabbed her butt so hard he touched her private area. So I'm like, well, when did this happen and where did it happen at? And she's not really giving me a straight answer. Now I'm like, okay, she's drunk. Let me check my camera in my living room to see what happens. So I'm watching the camera from when I went to sleep all the way up to this point that she's telling me this. But I never saw him grab her from behind. Instead, I see him sitting in a chair next to the couch, and she's sitting on the couch, and he's putting his hand down her shirt, and she doesn't look uncomfortable. She doesn't stop it. She doesn't move or say anything. I watched it a good 5 to 8 times before I said anything because I was just in disbelief. But I started yelling and saying, what the hell do those two have going on? And I then kicked both of them out of my house. I'm talking to her today and being told that I'm a piece of schmidt because I didn't believe her. But it's not that I don't believe her. I just felt from the camera's point of view, and me seeing it for myself, that it just doesn't look right. Now, I've completely cut my homeboy off. I don't care for any excuse from either one of them, but I really love my girlfriend, and my dumb brain still wants to be with her, but what respect would I have for myself if I don't draw the line somewhere? I don't know. Someone please tell me I'm wrong and I'm overthinking it. Now, there's a lot of factors here. It should be clarified that Opie didn't show the footage to her girlfriend. She just looked at her phone, reacted, and then kicked them out. That would explain why this girlfriend is, calling her a piece of schmidt, saying, why don't you believe me, even though there's, evidence that no one grabbed her butt. It's why you have comments say, send her the video. If he had been assaulting her, she'd have no reason to lie about the actual act. What he did would be bad enough. But Opie's responsive in the comments and clarifies that, trust me, I sent both of them the video so no one's confused. So okay, she's still denying it then? Opie responds, yup. Which is crazy to me. Did she forget that Opie had cameras in her house, making her go, oh no, I've got to spin this so I'm the victim? Like comments theorize, probably realized the cameras caught everything and panicked, thought to get ahead of it, but didn't think things through. But we should hold up here. Let's remind ourselves of the state the girlfriend was in. People point out she was blackout drunk, so how would she know? It sounds like she was assaulted. Sure, she said her butt instead of her boobs, but again, she was blackout drunk apparently. Well, Opie does clarify she wasn't completely blackout drunk, like she never lost consciousness or passed out. She was pretty coherent and aware when I was talking to her, which doesn't really help the case here when Opie was mentioning they were getting blackout drunk. I mean, the word blackout literally means to be blacked out. But okay, she wasn't incoherent. Not drunk enough to not be aware of what was going on. But coming back to the fact that she doesn't stop it, she doesn't move or say anything. Well, as a comment says here, fawning and freezing is a valid trauma response, especially if she's already experienced SA before. She didn't initiate the interaction, and she didn't respond and join in the physical touching. She quite literally could have been frozen in fear or disassociation and couldn't react. react, which is so valid. If someone isn't reciprocating approval, or hey, maybe establish some sort of free use fetish thing. Point is, this could be very much the case. Until we got this response from OP. Yeah, that's how I also felt and thought about it. But in the beginning, where he's getting closer to her, he grabs her boob the first time and she doesn't react or move, and then they put the bottle down and full on puts his hand down her shirt and she leans into him while he's changing music on her phone or something. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it, but that doesn't look like someone frozen in shock to me. And when I asked her why she didn't move or anything, she sent, "Oh, I froze," or "I was scared." All she can say is, "Don't you see how drunk I was? Obviously I couldn't give consent or even know what happened." At this point, there's nothing I can do but move on and see what happens. So it really seems like OP is caught between that place of wanting to really believe victims of these sort of circumstances, but then also possibly coming to the reality that her girlfriend is actually dishonest and a cheater herself. I'd just like to highlight the moment in the story where when OP wakes up after their little nap, the girlfriend mentions that her and Homeboy are going to get some extra drinks. Why not invite OP? Why does OP just have to stay? Stay at home, OP. We'll get the drinks. Just him and I, away from all the cameras. So with all of OP's responses, yes, you get people implying that she's doubling down on the lies. You've seen the video and it just confirms that you can't trust her. I know a lot of things start with B, but it's kind of hard to mistake someone touching your butt versus your boo-boos. Now, I'm going to read out this next comment, and I swear to God, if any sort of Taint Liquor Alpha podcast, ball gobbler, takes this as like, "Oh, this is evidence of exactly what I think about all the women who never approved of me or gave me consent." Please understand, I validate your pain and loneliness. Being a man is tough. There's a lot of silent, invisible pressures unfairly put against you. Take it from an ex-red pill person in their youth, I guarantee most of it is just coming from the other men who are grifting you for your loneliness and your money. The misandry you experience online is a natural consequence of all the idolization you had for the misogynists you follow. Anyway, this comment reads, "Sorry, this ticks me off. Your lady is hella reminding me of this chick I went to school with. She was very enthusiastic about hooking up." Now, I didn't mind it at all, like, hell yeah, good for you, girl, get it. But the second anyone had anything negative to say about the dude she was banging at the time, or like, if she got caught hooking up with a not-so-desirable-looking guy, she would all of a sudden go from, "Yeah, I'm hooking up with a baddie," to saying things like, "Oh, well, I didn't actually want to. Oh, I felt forced. Oh, it didn't feel safe to say no. Oh, he forced himself on me and I was just too weak to fight." Like, straight up bull like that. People can twist their words every which way, but video evidence is hard to manipulate with words. Anyways, I'm so sorry you are going through this. Allow yourself to feel the feelings you are, and don't let these two try to dictate how they made you feel. Your feelings are valid, your emotions are valid, and the mental state this would throw most people into is also valid. I would have done the same thing in your situation. Protect your space, your home, and your heart. Now, feel free to share your thoughts on that, but please have the critical thinking skills to notice how your algorithm influences you with gender rage bait, and how this girl does not represent all victims. Nor does that guy's comment believe that all men must not believe women because they can't be trusted. Ooh, because they're manipulative. But okay, an update from OP. Thank you everyone for your input. No, I don't feel better, and I hate it here. I tried being forgiving and telling her to come home, but she said some schmidt like, "I can never look at you the same," and that ticked me off, because what the hell did I do? And I told her I hated her and to frick off. So I'm just more sad, if anything, and I think I just don't want to be alone, but it is what it is. Yeah, sadly it leaves with OP saying in the comments that that's what I'm fighting myself about. If I forgive her and look past it, then I just don't have any self-respect for myself. But if I let her go, then it's just that. I don't know. Now, I honestly don't know what I would do in OP's circumstance aside from the exact same thing. Why wouldn't you want to believe your partner? But then also to have damning evidence that proves the contrary? Like, not only did they almost make up the circumstances, but have provenly acted the complete opposite way to how they were telling you. Ultimately, if you're someone who is already anxious about relationships and trusting your partner all the time, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having you listen to this. This mystery with eventual revelation began 2 weeks ago by Koofy. Am I overreacting for being deeply affected after a guy reassured me, talked about marriage, and then vanished without closure? I'm 22 female, and I, for some reason, have always been hopeful that I will someday find love in this cruel world. There will be a sweet guy who will love me unconditionally, and I will give him all the love that I have, which is a lot of love, in my opinion. But a bit of my dating history, I always encountered terrible people whenever it came to dating. My first relationship got toxic and abusive, and the guy almost killed me. The second guy kinda love-bombed and breadcrumbed and got me to do the giggity with him, and then a guy lied and took a lot of money from me and ran away. Then I met this guy, who I got involved with, and found out that he had a girlfriend for 3 years. Then, for a change, a guy of a different religion. He wanted a serious relationship until his mom married him to a good virgin of his own kind. I asked him what even was his plan of getting in a relationship if he's gonna break both of our hearts in the end. He didn't have an answer, and it ended right there. There's more, but nothing contributed to my character development as much as these. And then I met this guy, Kay, 25 male. We went out on a date, and I don't know, I didn't get the vibe, so I let the conversation die after our first date, but I never really removed him from my Instagram, because he did post some fun content. So, after months of not being in contact, and my life being a roller coaster of legal troubles and family drama, well, he slid into my DMs and went all like, I missed you and could never get you out of my mind. I tell him straight up that I don't want to pass my time, so if you can imagine us getting married in the future, then we can continue seeing each other. He agreed and said he didn't have time for passing time or casual either. We went out on dates, which were mostly fun. We were talking, and he was telling me how he's scared to hurt me and all, and I tell him that my abusive ex once told me that he would rather die than ever hit me, and then he freaking hit me, almost choking me to death, so I don't know how to just trust your words that you won't hurt me. I cried then, and I cried again while typing this. Yeah, so he says that you can judge me, test me for all the time you want. If you have trust issues, then you can just snatch my phone from my hand and check it whenever you'd like. He even said that some people lie about this too, so I really should check his phone. He actually told me that he was worried if my mum will like him or not and asking me her favorite dish to impress her. Easy crowd, to be honest. One just has to not be my father. We bonded really well on the dark humor side too. We go out on another date, and he told me that his parents want to have a conversation with him regarding his marriage, and they are strict, but he will tell them everything about me and fight for his love. Some more context. On our first date, he told me that he dated a Catholic girl for 7 years, and she dumped him because her parents didn't want her to marry a Hindu guy. That same night, I texted him a long appreciation paragraph, I still feel so stupid, of how kind and sweet he is, and I'd love to be with him. The next morning, I wake up to a long paragraph from this guy, and he tells me that his parents said no to intercaste marriage. Note, the caste system is an old Indian hierarchy that ranks people at birth and then uses that ranking to decide who you're allowed to marry. He says he's sorry about how his family thinks, and he won't be able to be with me because of it. He compliments me and says that I'm wife material, and sorry again. I read this message shivering because I'm barely able to understand what he's trying to say, mostly because he has terrible grammar and punctuation, plus autocorrect is never in his favor, and I ask him to call me back. The message didn't get delivered. He blocked me from everywhere, robbing me of a last conversation that could help me get closure. I had already planned his handmade, crocheted birthday gift in his favorite color. Along with the gift, I also thought of crocheting Courage the Cowardly Dog car charm for him because he told me it was his favorite show. Funny, right? Against all advice, I tried calling him from a different number, and he just blocked the call, somehow knowing it was me who called him. I asked my friend to ask him to at least have a closure conversation with me, and he told her he doesn't have the guts to talk to me. This guy that held my hands and said he was really scared to hurt me in any way and kissed them, and that he was so sweet that I let my guard down a little. I can't even fathom how can any human with emotions just do that, especially someone like him. I have lost all hope. We went out for a month, and this shouldn't be that serious of a thing, but I was on brink emotionally. A guy who almost killed me didn't scare me from dating, but for some reason getting betrayed from this guy actually scared me from trusting anyone. Am I overreacting? Well, with OP clearly beginning to spiral, comments are quick to remind OP that there is no such thing as closure. Stop looking for it. Some people just suck and do terrible things. Pick yourself up, brush off the dust, and move on. Others, though, are kind of concerned by all the life experience OP has had by this age. All of this by 22? Suggestion 1, hit the pause button on the dating thing for a bit. Get yourself sorted to a point where you are growing and satisfied by yourself before you start looking again to find someone to potentially marry. Suggestion 2, don't go one step further down the road of chasing this closure from him. Chasing him via different numbers, chasing him via his friends, etc. will just frustrate you further and makes you come off as unhinged. The truth is, even if you managed one last talk somehow, there's nothing he can tell you that's gonna make it okay, or not hurt, or somehow closed. Ultimately, you're the only one in charge of your closure, and you'll find that as you move forward, while looking forward, spend more mental energy looking through life's big windshield and less at that itty-bitty rearview mirror. I think that's a fair response. Honestly, OP has come across as turning a bit unhinged. Just the way this story is typed. I know they expressed that they were clearly in a very sensitive state as they were typing the story, but theoretically, I wonder if maybe they decided to end things and made up this story because she was just a bit intense. That and trying to want to settle down and marry at the age of 22? Like, you've got time, girl. You're all good. No rush. There is more to experience in life than a monogamous accolade. But yes, this was 2 weeks ago this story began, and we get an update 14 hours ago, where it is revealed, and oh, I am so sorry to OP to have to be dealing with this truth. He had a goddamn girlfriend of 2.5 years. In my previous post, I told you this guy K was all serious, considering marriage with me, and suddenly dumped me one day explaining how his parents didn't approve of me because of our different social groups. Now, I always had a feeling which I dismissed, thinking I'm being paranoid. See, I saw a comment of a girl on his posts and asked about it. He got defensive and told me that she is his cousin. I let it slide away, and then the parents thing happened on the 16th of November, and he dumped and blocked me on the 17th of November. Now, I mostly moved on, but some things didn't feel right, and I didn't know why. That cousin thing lingered with me for weeks. And yesterday, I finally messaged the cousin, and we figure out that we dated the same guy at the same time, and both got dumped one day apart. She told me they were together for 2.5 years. He reassured her just like me. Everything so similar. So the timeline was that he met me on the 16th and also met my friends that same day. And then he met her right after me and dumped her that same day, then dumping me the next day. I just want a petty revenge on him so bad. Spray paint his car and write cheater, puncture his tires. If I ever see him, my drink is going on his face. I don't have his address, or I would have sent something to let his mom know what kind of a person she raised. But a positive side, I made a new friend, and I will not date anyone for at least a year and focus on my upcoming competitive exam and personal growth. I also realized that the universe does show you signs. Never ignore them or your instincts. I have started thinking of my life as a sitcom, and now I find it funny when even schmitty things happen. Like, god damn it, man. Way to just further fuel the fire of misandry online that's gonna turn this person into such a bitter soul towards any guy who wants to, have a chance. Now, there was some confusion in the comments, people mistaking her for dating him for 2.5 years, and yet you didn't know where he lives. Like, were you trying to find his mum's address? It's just very unclear. But OP clarifying that no, that's the other girl he was dating this entire time. But yeah, what do you reckon on the whole needing closure? Have you ever pursued that? Have you found it actually helped? Or it more just kept the flames alive of that depression which, sort of sinks around our souls whenever we're still trying to get over someone? Personally, I kind of have to agree with a lot of the comments here. There's a reason why out of sight, out of mind works so well. It's what makes long distance relationships so difficult. You've got to actively put in the efforts to remind each other that you both exist. And so yeah, the more you're pursuing closure, the more you're letting it sit in your soul and your mind and not simply moving on. But then there's some of us who treat life like chapters in a story, and it just feels frustratingly incomplete if we don't get an end paragraph, I suppose.